AleXa, and I'm so excited to announce that I will be joining you at Otakon this year on the Friday night's K-pop concert. I am so excited to be bringing more K-pop to Otakon, and who knows, maybe you'll get a chance to cosplay beside y'all. Who knows, we'll wait and see. But I will see you guys at Otakon. Take care.
All right, guys.
Which camera should I look at?
Yeah, I would have done whatever.
We'll look at one of us or whatever. I would say look at whoever's asking you a question.
You know what that works for me. Okay.
It makes it easier. I would agree. Okay. I don't feel like anybody's going to say go. So I say just go.
I say
Go. Let's go. I'm going to start. I have a question for you.
Okay.
So at the show the other night, right, when you were performing, you came out, you talked about always wanting to come to Otakon.
Yes.
But never having had the opportunity to do so. So like now on a personal level, how does performing somewhere like here at Otakon differ from performing at like American Song Contest?
I mean, like, American Song Contest, like, of course it was like a huge contest for literally all of America and the territories, but that means it's like a broad, you know, there's a really broad umbrella of music that could have been shown there with people with various interests, of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a great honor to perform for that kind of demographic. But here at Otakon, I feel like there's a very large J-pop, K-pop influence amongst the attendees.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to like specifically perform for that kind of crowd because the commotion is just wild. And even people that aren't necessarily maybe my fan brought like different group K-pop lights to cheer us on for the night. So it was really cool to see all that.
Yeah. So,
if you don't mind the question. Congratulations again on winning the American Song Contest.
Thank you.
The contest consisted of 3 rounds. How did you prepare for each round? And as a follow-up question, what was it like the moment they announced you as a winner? Because that was fantastic.
Well, thank you. First and foremost, thank you. But wow, for every single round, how did we prepare? I mean, going into the competition, my team and I had so many ideas that we wanted to put into motion and everything, and we were so fortunate enough to work with the incredible, like, creative team, House of Sam, who not only did the choreography and staging for Wonderland, but like, you know, helped just direct the overall feel of everything, like lighting and like staging. I mean, they even had like a say in like how the costumes should be and everything. So it was really cool to like put our creative minds with theirs and just make this beautiful brainchild that was Wonderland. But like with the first performance, of course, we're like, okay, let's give them a performance they're never gonna forget. Make sure we have like the K-pop performance aspect, but like let's leave them on edge for the next one just in case we make it through. And so that's what we did with the falling off the staircase at the end. And so for the next one, for semifinals, of course we wanted to up the ante a bit. And so we included the ropes, the hanging part at the beginning. And of course we continued that with the falling off at the very end to lead to the final stage, which we were suspended in the air on that throne, which was super cool, by the way. They said we technically could have gone higher, but it was like a liability, so we only went that high, but I was game to go all the way to the roofs and the catwalks if I had to. But it was just a really fun process, honestly, just being surrounded, with so many other just creatives in the same spot. It was just really, really nice.
Cool, thank you.
No problem.
I guess my question is, when it comes to, you know, sing, you know, a given song, what would you say it is within that song that you would say speaks to you? Because it's not, as you well know, you know, in the industry, it's not very easy to be able to recapture the success of doing of a song that really speaks to people and to have it happen, you know, again and again and again. So what would you say it is in that in those songs that you have that you feel, you know, that you're able to kind of on a, you know, on some level what it is that, you know, will you know, capture, you know, audiences?
I think specifically, like with being a K-pop artist, being a K-pop idol, the genre itself is so conceptual and so visual. Like, sorry, my team and I put a lot of effort into like how the staging and like the visual aspect of the performance is going to be. The song is definitely one thing by itself. The choreography is another, but when you add the hair, makeup, the lighting, the effects, the bubble machines, it's a whole different kind of game. Like, I mean, I feel like K-pop is such a visually consumed genre. And so any opportunity we get to like up the ante and just show you guys a really nice visual feast, a visual performance, I mean, we like taking those opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you.
We got a question. So going forward, you're going to be promoting in both America and Korea. Is there a different thought process that happens when preparing for promotions in either place?
Well, I mean, definitely when it comes to promoting in America, granted, I mean, Americans do love K-pop. I mean, it's definitely become such a worldwide genre, so I'm very fortunate to be able to, share my work that I do in Korea here in America. But at the same time, I have these wonderful opportunities like American Song Contest that allow me to be an artist, but also sing in English. So, I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to fluctuate, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, fluctuate between singing Korean, singing in English. I mean, we might even throw some Spanish in a song, who knows? It's just a really nice opportunity to perform in places I haven't been before. Because even in places in Korea for different festivals, I haven't been to certain regions before. And then in America, again, I've never been to Otakon before, but I have this wonderful opportunity. So, I mean, I feel like the preparation is honestly the same. It's just the mental preparation of oh my gosh, it's a big crowd. Are we ready? Are we prepared? That kind of excitement is what really gets me every time.
So I have another question.
Yeet.
So as a K-pop fan, right? Shiny was a thing in my household.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. But when you what criteria do you specifically look for, personally, when you choose a bias, right, for yourself? And is it different now that you're an idol
Oh,
in what you're looking for?
that's a good question, actually. I mean, back in the day of my youth, when I was but a wee K-pop fan, I mean, I typically, as a dancer, I really looked for the members who were the main dancers, because I love performance, especially dance. So anybody that really captured my attention on stage, not just vocally or visually, but just with how people move. I've always been fascinated with dancers. So I mean, that's why I really respect someone like Taemin from SHINee, of course. So I mean, people like that really captivate me whenever I look at a new group or look at a comeback stage. I'm like, dang, that person knows how to move. Props to them, kudos to them. But now that I'm in the industry, I don't know, I feel like whenever new groups come out and I see their music videos or I meet them at a music show and I see them perform live, I think I still look at them with the same eyes though, because I really, really respect really good dancers.
Sure.
So I think it's still a dancing bias for me, yeah.
Okay.
Let me swing it back this way before it goes around.
Yeah, hello.
First of all, you killed it on stage the other day. The performance was
Thank you.
amazing. Everybody did their thing. What do you say you do to keep that level of preparation to keep that energy before each show every time?
That's a good question, actually. I mean, Otakon is only the second long set I've done live in a long time, honestly, because the first one was Summer Stage back in New York, but even with that, I think that was shorter than Otakon. I don't remember at this point. My brain is spaghetti, cold spaghetti. But I really truly don't know. That's a really good question, because I think I just get such an adrenaline rush from being in front of an audience, because I mean, I said this before, but in Korea, due to the pandemic, we hadn't had live audiences in 2 years. And so straight out the gate, I debuted, I had one live show at Music Bank, and then the pandemic hit. So then we've just been performing for the producers and the cameras at these music shows. And so having live audiences now, it's just so nice. Because I'm an extrovert, my MBTI is ENFP. So I really thrive off of energy from other people. So I think, honestly, it's all thanks to and kudos to the crowd that shows up. That's where I get my energy from, I think. Because anytime I get off stage, people are like, how did you do that? And I honestly do not know how to answer the question. But thank you. Yes.
Pardon me. Fans can listen to your song Wonderland, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of it. And not only in Korean, but also in English. When you're recording a song in a different language, do you find yourself making any changes to lyrics or pacing due to differences in across languages, whether it's syllable count, which would affect your matching melody, or also occurrences and meaning of words? If you don't mind, follow. Can you explain how you adapt to those changes?
Sure. I mean, yeah, with Wonderland and any English versions of the Korean songs that I do have, we tend to try to keep the lyrics in the same family. Maybe not the exact meaning or exact translation, because there are words in Korean that don't have a specific English counterpart, or they have several, so it's really hard to pinpoint an exact translation or anything. But yeah, in regards to Wonderland specifically, we did have to change syllable counts on certain parts and fix the phrasing for that, but it's not it's too difficult of a transition. I mean, luckily the writers that we work with aren't like trying to like throw me under the bus, like let's give her 20 syllables where there's only 3, you know? Like it's never like anything like that, never malicious. So it's just getting readjusted to the pacing, the phrasing, but it's never anything that my team and I can't tackle whenever we're in the recording booth.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
I guess I have one. I was going to say, kind of follow up and it's jumping off of the question here was in terms of, trends. I want to say that that's another thing that, is very pivotal in being able to have, that longevity, in your career. And so are there some things that, and I know you touched on that, briefly, are there some things that have, been a trend a couple of years ago and things that you're now starting to see becoming trends that you're like, oh, okay, I need to, keep an eye on that, as you are continuing to, evolve as an artist?
I mean, that's a really good question. If I'm going to be completely honest, I'm very out of touch with what's trendy and what the kids are like cool with nowadays. I mean, yes, I'm on TikTok, but I'm honestly not that active to where I know, oh my god, this is trendy, this is the new slang word, this is the new dance, this is the new meme song. I really don't know.
Well, maybe more specifically just within, the industry specifically, with your craft.
I mean, like specifically like certain dance like styles will come in and out. And like I know that there was a big retro wave last year, like sonically in music. There was a big retro wave with that. We did not jump on that, but I don't think it'd be too late if we did. But also like visually, I feel like a lot of like fellow female artists in the industry, they're heading towards like a darker route, which I think is super cool because there's nothing cooler than like just badass girls being badass, So it's really nice and refreshing to see that because I mean, fortunately, I'm someone like debuted with like an AI, like cyberpunk, cyber warrior concept right out the gate. So it's really cool to see a different like, not a different, but more of a resurgence of people doing cyberpunk and like AI stuff. It's really cool seeing, hey, okay, we did this and now it's starting to get super trendy. Like it's really cool to see that, but I don't know. My team and I are like always really open to just push the envelope, try whatever we can, try whatever's new, see how far we can go with things. So yeah, when we find trendy things, we definitely want to hop on that and try that, yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking of you and your team, like I said, the choreography was amazing. How long did it take you to get that down? How long did it take all of you to get that dance down?
Just like any of them in general? Or
Yeah, just that. I mean, I guess like I want to say like the first 2 sets, like your first 2 songs, like something like.
Shoot. Wow. Okay, so we're winding the time back to Revolution, which was 2 years ago. 1, 2. Again, brain is cold spaghetti. But yeah, so with Revolution, we filmed the music video pretty fast in comparison to the time we had to learn the choreography. I literally had like 2 days to learn the choreography before we went into the music video shoot. But that being said though, even in a case like Revolution, I always have time after the shoot before promotions begin to actually really, sharpen and polish things up before like everything goes on a stage. But yeah, Revolution, we only had 2 days to learn that before the shoot. And when I say 2 days, I don't even mean like 48 hours. It was like 2-hour lessons for 2 days.
Wow.
So like 4 hours really. And then, what was after that? Do or Die. We had quite a bit of preparation time for Do or Die actually, because it was my first comeback. So we wanted to make sure she was nice and polished and clean and just ready to throw out the gate. But I think we had a few weeks at least for Do or Die. But yeah, it just really varies with each comeback and how soon we want to just get things out there, how soon we want to ride like the trend waves and everything. So it's just different every comeback.
It's crazy.
So going back to American Song Contest, what was your favorite part about getting to compete and participate in the show? And are there like any behind the scenes stories that you can share with us?
Oh, I mean, definitely one of my favorite things about competing was meeting all of the other artists, to be honest. Because like, not in a bad way, but I hadn't heard of half of these artists before. And it was so lovely to not just see them, do their thing on stage, hone in on their craft, but to actually meet them on a personal level and share stories and the commonalities about being an artist and everything. I got to share stories about being in Korea. They shared stories with me about, where they've gone on tours and everything. It was just really cool. But like behind the scenes stuff, let's see. There were so many like funny behind the scenes moments. Oh my God. I will say I'm still in contact with a handful of the people from the show, like Chloe Fredericks, Yuji Skywalker, and Ryan Charles. Like, you're still close homies to me, but I don't know, I can't pinpoint a specific moment. It was just very fun meeting Michael Bolton for the first time. There we go. That was like mind-blowing. I love Michael Bolton. I grew up listening to his music because of my parents. So seeing him in person and hearing him sing in person, I was just like, damn, he still got it. He's still got it. He's still so talented. It was amazing.
Okay, so I personally would love to see a collaboration between like you and CL. Okay? But dead or alive, who is like the dream collaboration for you?
Oh,
Any genre, any time frame again, dead or alive.
man. That's a hard question because there are so many artists that I love and respect and I love their music. But now I'm thinking, wait, would I mesh well with them if we were to collab? Shoot, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to say this because it's just, but I'm a really big David Bowie fan. I love David Bowie. Like, I own so many of his vinyls. I collect his vinyls and everything. I mean, I literally bought the last vinyl for Black Star, the album that came out right as he passed.
Yeah.
I made sure I got that like immediately. And like anytime there's like vintage stores or record stores, I always look for David Bowie stuff to buy. I mean, seeing like the creative and visual genius he was as an artist, given the whole Ziggy Stardust thing he did as well, and plus his acting career, I mean, the man was so talented. I think it would have been cool to somehow have manifested an AleXa and David Bowie collab, but you know, we'll see what happens in heaven later whenever I'm gone. But listening, gone. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I had another question regarding
Yeah.
your song Wonderland. Again, I really like the pacing and also the finishing. It's
Thank
a
you.
wonderful song with so many different acoustic players to it.
Thank you.
Excellent crafted. Would you mind telling me a bit about the songwriting process for Wonderland? And just as the first of two follow-ups, if you don't mind. First, I noticed there might be some references to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Would you say that's your favorite book? And if not, what would your favorite book be?
Okay, great questions. First and foremost, the songwriting process. Well, it was a very large collaborative effort, mainly between these 5 amazing songwriters, which are, come on, brain, let's go, Kazi, Ellen, Andres Carlson, Arvin, and Becca Boom. So these 5 songwriters, they all came together and created this masterpiece. And we received so many incredible songs from various songwriters and everything. And we fell in love with each and every one. But like the second we heard Wonderland, we're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I feel something with this one. She's the one. She's the one. Throw the bouquet to her. She's getting married. Like, she is the one. Like, it was really, really cool to work with these people. I mean, I got to meet Kazi and Ellen in person. I got to FaceTime with Alvin, which was nice. Andres Carlson, he and I went back and forth during DMs on Instagram and everything, and same with Becca. So it's really cool to actually, you know, be in contact with these incredible people that work behind the scenes to make these songs happen. No, face, wake up. Thank you. Happen. But it's also really nice because they allowed me to like throw some Korean in there, just, you know, make it a bit more K-pop, but also, you know, share Korean culture with America as it was the American Song Contest. It was just a really fun process. It definitely took a long time. The song was definitely a child that we wanted to raise correctly before sending it out into the world. But I feel like we did a good job as parents, I feel like, yeah. But then in regards to the Alice in Wonderland thing, I love Alice in Wonderland. It's definitely one of my favorite books and movies. But like, if I were to say my actual favorite book, oh, that's a tough one. I have not read a book in so long. Shoot, pardon me, I need water just 1 second. I'm trying to think. Well, it's kind of hard to pinpoint, but I'm a really big Stephen King fan, actually. So I grew up reading a lot of his novels, like Pet Sematary, Carrie, It, and everything. I think just with the intricacy of the storyline, I really like It, not gonna lie. It's also just very interesting to see how he conceptualizes the concept of fear. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, he's got a fantastic grasp of it just because it's very non-traditional.
And the world he builds around everything. Everything in every one of his books are linked,
Yeah,
which is
it's he's
so
got great world
wild.
building.
Exactly.
It's like another Stephen King fan.
There we go, exactly. But yeah, Stephen King.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So I've noticed that in K-pop, everybody kind of has to build like their own unique look, you know, from hair color to, you know, the sound of the music. And of course, I've noticed a lot of the artists here have like different color hair, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's the inspiration for, like, for your look and your hair color for? whatever I guess what you're going for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very big part of K-pop because, like I said earlier, it's such a visual and conceptual genre of music. I mean, as the artist, we want to represent our songs and the concepts, like the feeling that we want to give to our audience, to the demographics that listen and everything. So, I mean, right out the gate with, like, when I debuted with Bomb, we wanted to go with that cyberpunk concept immediately. And so we were thinking, okay, what colors spark the idea of, like, cyberpunk? So, of course, we have elements of, like, pinks, purples, blues, and neons going on in the music video. But hair color-wise, originally, we wanted to go, like, stark white. But then we were like, wait, that might be a little too much damage to your scalp right out the gate. You're literally just now debuting. You can't be bald for your first comeback. So we pulled it back into, like, the dark blue. But I feel like it worked well with the lighting and the costumes that we had. But then, like, Do or Die, she wanted to be similar to Bomb, but not too different because it's the same storyline. So we kept it, like, in the ashy, tones, kept it purple. But then for the B-side track, I had Kitty Run. We wanted to differentiate her completely because she was part of a different storyline. So that's why we gave myself that bright carrot orange hair for that. I mean, so on and so forth. But, like, for something in the likes of Wonderland, we were thinking, okay, what would be an iconic hair color to keep for 3 months or more, because you're going to be in this competition for 3 months or more. But, we decided Alice in Wonderland, her dress is blue, why not go with blue?
Right.
And so also the elements of red and stuff for the stage lighting is nice. And now with the split purple, we just want to shake it up. Something new, We had the blue for like 88 years, so just want to do something new and fresh.
Like,
So, how would you describe AleXa to someone who doesn't listen to your music?
Oh boy, I had this question yesterday in my Q&A, but I had to like speed rush it in like 11 seconds. I have more than 11 seconds today. Oh boy, how would I describe AleXa to like a perfect stranger? Sorry. Let's see. Well, music-wise, I would like to say it's like a buffet. You're going to the Golden Corral, You might not like everything there, but like, if you like mashed potatoes, well, damn it, there's mashed potatoes, You're gonna find it. They're gonna be good seasoned ones too, not just plain, nice and garlic and salt and everything, butter, nice. But also, I feel like visually, what we do at ZB Label is just very different and very out there. I feel like we really like to explore, this is kind of redundant, but the concept of concepts, if that makes any sense and isn't super redundant. But like, again, like I said earlier, we always want to like push the envelope, see what we can do like sonically, like visually, conceptually, like with special effects too, because my company is a music video team. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to put everything into one concise thought, but I feel like I've said everything my brain will allow me to say.
I know that you do some cosplay.
Yes!
Right? If you could cosplay anyone that would allow you to say sneak onto the floor without anybody knowing, oh, look, it's who would it be? What do you do?
That's a really good question, because I'm really laughing, because yesterday I did have my Arcane Jinx cosplay on, and I was in the vendor room, and there were a few people that were like, oh my god, AleXa, is that you? Oh my god, can we take pictures? And I was like, yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah.
But it's so funny, because just random attendees who probably don't know K-pop stop me like, hey, Jinx, can we get a picture? And I was like, yeah, you don't know who I am, this is great, okay, cool. So, of course with the mask mandate going on too, nobody really sees the face, but my fans can recognize me like that, which is scary, but cool.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting to me not being recognized as AleXa, but just as a Jinx cosplayer. But if I could like choose anybody to just, sneak out for a day, who would have been? I used to have such a long list of cosplans that I wanted to do when I was in high school. I think a really fun one, it's kind of obscure, but it's from the Black Butler franchise, specifically the Noah's Ark Book of Circus arc, the Tightrope Walker doll. She has this really pretty, intricate white floral headpiece that covers an eye. She has a very like ballerina kind of like outfit. I always wanted to cosplay her, but I never did. So that would be a fun one.
Makes sense with a dance background.
Yeah! Oh my god, wait, it does.
It does.
You caught on to that before I ever did.
I'm here.
You see me. You see me.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yes.
I really respect just how incredibly talented you are. You're a singer, a songwriter, a dancer. Which did you get into first? And who introduced you? Was your passion for performance something that you learned from your parents or from someone else?
Well, I mean, my mother wanted to start my hobbies early, so when I was at the ripe young age of like 18 months old, so literally like a year and a half, I could barely walk. My mom enrolled me at a local ballet studio, put me in little baby ballet classes. There's so much footage of that online, because I know that we've released some for like AleXa backstory documentary things, but so I did that. I was at a studio until I was like 14. I think I was at the studio for like my whole life. And then middle school, I started doing competitive dance all the way into high school. And then in high school, I also started joining my high school's show choir. We competed nationally. I believe one year we ranked like 5th nationally. Against like these California schools where like celebrities literally send their kids, and it's just like, dang, that's like a famous person's child we're competing against. Wow. But I don't know. Performance has always been something I feel like I've just had a passion for, even at a young age. I didn't know what I was doing. What 2-year-old goes on stage and is like, yes, I'm a performer gracing the stage. We don't consciously know that we're like 2 + 2 is 4, and that is all I know. But I really like to thank my mom for putting me in those classes. Had I not done that, I don't know if I would have found my passion as an adult, to be honest. But it's also interesting because in high school, my mother was a cheerleader. And then my dad, as a hobby for so long, he was also performing magic. So there's a little bit of showmanship that runs in my family. So I think it's really nifty that all manifested to me where I am today.
That's cool. Do you mind just a brief follow-up?
Yeah.
When you mentioned that you did competitive dancing from middle school to high school, was it ballet or did you do multiple genres as well?
Okay, so I stopped doing ballet when I was 14 because I started doing competitive dance and the practices started conflicting. So I had to sacrifice one, and my mom and I wanted to go ahead and just focus on like the school dance teams instead. So that was like pom. So like the cheerleading stuff with pom-poms and everything, like turns and kicks and everything. No flips, because that's tumbling. We don't do tumbling in pom. That's what cheerleaders do. But we competed nationally for that as well. We won first place one year, actually. Was that when I was a sophomore or I don't remember. But we competed regionally, nationally. My team from my high school was pretty well ranked at the country, so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we're at an anime convention.
We are?
You know, I gotta ask, what are your top animes right now that you're watching, if you're watching?
Well, I hate to say I'm kind of out of touch with like the new animes.
It's all good.
I've been wanting to like get into them, but like as soon as I start one, I just lose track because life is so hectic.
Yeah, work, adult.
So hectic. But I've been meaning to start Demon Slayer, and I've heard Jujutsu Kaisen is good.
Yes.
I've kind of been wanting to get into Chainsaw Man. Not sure. I've heard it's.
The anime hasn't started yet, but the manga is definitely going.
That's
through
the
it
thing.
yet.
I know there's no anime yet, but I've seen so many like
Yeah.
screen like captures of the manga like on Twitter because I
Yeah.
follow so many like random anime accounts on Twitter. But like my top animes out of the ones I've watched, OG number 1 is Death Note for sure. Number 2, I think it's honestly Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Because I mean that's the one that follows the manga, not just Fullmetal Alchemist. We all know this. And then if I had to say a third one, I guess it's not super recent anymore, but Kakegurui, the gambling one, I really like that one.
Oh yeah.
The art style is really pretty. So I really like well drawn anime. Yeah.
So before you go up on stage, what do you do to get yourself hyped up or to like ease the nerves?
Oh, well, drink a lot more water than I should because I know that halfway through my set, I'm like, dang it, I drank too much water, I have to pee. Regret it every time. But shake it out. I take like 10 seconds to just be by myself and get in the zone. Like whenever I'm at music shows in Korea, I'll put in my earpods and I'll just go through my song as many times as I can before I have to go like perform. Also, there's like a little prayer / chant thing that I learned when I was in Palm, and I always do that every time before I perform. Like ever since I was in Palm in middle school, starting then when I learned it, all the way till now as an adult and like K-pop artist, I do this little prayer thing before I go up on stage every time.
Considering your dance background, I've been seeing there are a lot of choreographers, Sienna Lau, Bailey Software, getting heavily involved in choreographing for K-pop specifically. Are there choreographers that you specifically want to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Ooh. I mean, there are a lot of dancers that I really respect. Like, I really love Bailey Silk. I love her. She's so young and so talented.
Yeah.
Sean Liu's another one. I mean, I know that he's done some work with K-pop as well, which is really nice. Let's see. I actually have a friend in Korea who's a dancer, but she's kind of up and coming as a choreographer. Her name is Taryn Chang. She recently did part of NCT Dream's Beatbox, which is really cool. She also did work for Icon recently. Let's see. But honestly speaking, after working with House of Sam for American Song Contest, I would love for them to choreograph to come back for me. Like, I would love nothing more to have them like put their hand in the pot, stir it around, throw some glitter in it, make it great. So yeah, House of Sam. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
So, in the previous interview, you said something about wanting to work with Marvel. Said Marvel call you.
Yes.
And if they did call you, what would you want to do?
Oh my god. So many things. I was actually just discussing this with my friends last night. You know, nowadays it's so wonderful to see that there's so many more outlets for Asian Americans, you know, in broad span mainstream media. I mean, recently with the things we've had like Shang-Chi, and of course all the Asian characters that have been appearing in Marvel films recently in the franchise. It's just very nice to see that, because as a kid, I didn't really have anybody but an animated figure of Mulan to look up to, you know? And so if I ever had the opportunity to appear in mainstream media like Marvel, oh my god. Personally, if they were to cast me in anything, I would really like to be Silk in the franchise, because I love me some Cindy Moon. I have so many different comments, and I think it's comics, and I think it's really cool that some of the cover art for the comics actually shows certain Korean traditional clothing like hanbok. So I think that's going to be a really great way to help, you know, showcase Korean culture as well to mainstream America, mainstream global media when they finally make a franchise for her. If not that, I've heard that in the X-Men series, Blink, she's ethnically Korean now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That opens a door for me. I'm waiting for the X-Men franchise to come back. I love the Avengers, do what I love them, but like, I miss the X-Men.
We're waiting
I miss
too.
X-Men. So Blink,
Yeah.
Silk, one of the two, I'd be very happy.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Hello. Between lessons and dance practices and recording sessions and fan events, you keep a incredibly busy schedule. What would you say did you do to decompress when you find time for yourself? Do you have any hobbies?
Well, hobbies do involve work for me, to be honest. I like learning choreographies whenever I can. I really love songwriting. I've been getting into producing lately, like top-lining songs, working on a lot of songs, actually. Hopefully they'll see the day sometime. We'll be on an album, hopefully. Say our prayers. Other than that, not gonna lie, my free time in the con, like when I'm not performing, when I'm not doing panels and everything, at nighttime before I sleep, just to unwind, I've been rewatching the Clive Barker Hellraiser series. Just for funsies, because I love that genre of movie style, like back like Nightbreed and things like that too. Like, I just love campy movies with like practical effects and everything, specifically Clive Barker films. So yeah, recently Hellraiser. Damn it, Jenny.
All right. So, also in another interview, you also mentioned that when you were younger, your dream was to work for the CIA. Just if you don't know, it's like right down the street. So, want to go knock on the door, or you living life good right now?
I mean, I would not trade what I'm doing right now for the world. I'm very grateful, very blessed, and very content to be where I am and doing what I'm doing and knowing the people I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you know, let's say I was born again in another life. It'd be fun to explore different career paths just to see how well it matches with me and how well I do. But yeah, CIA was definitely a dream I had as a kid for some reason. Like, I want to be a spaceman. I want to be a cowboy. I want to work for the CIA. You know, CIA stuff. But yeah, it's close. Might just, you know, not be a Korean agent at all because I live there. So yeah.
Were you excited to see any other K-pop artists that are here, Rolling Chords, and you guys get a chance to like collaborate in the future, have that discussion backstage?
Oh yeah, I mean, so in that case, I actually got to work with Rolling Quartz a little bit back in Korea. They're my girlies, we're a little girl gang, I love them so much. But in the case of like Pixie, I only got to meet them like one time in the past, was last summer for the Dream concert in Korea, because we were both there, and so I saw them backstage briefly, said hi, but I really didn't get a chance to like talk to them, get to know them. But fortunately, we've had enough time to actually cross paths, talk, exchange like contact info and everything. So it's really cool getting to know Pixie as well. But if I could have a collab with either one of them, I'd be super happy. I mean, just any collab with any artist in general that I'm friends with and that I love and respect, I would grab the opportunity as soon as it left me.
When it comes to developing the concept, right, as you get ready for a comeback, how involved do you get to be personally in that? Does your team, is it all collaborative, or do you kind of make a decision for yourself and say, this is what I want to do?
Well, I mean, sorry, wow, asthma. I should have done my inhaler this morning. Albuterol, where are you when I need you? But yeah, I mean, I would like to say with this upcoming comeback, pretty involved, because I kind of told my team, I was like, hey, so I know we've been doing this, but what if we did this? I've been wanting to do this for a long time, so what if we went down this path? And the team was like, yeah, you know, like, it's about time. So, like, we started formulating ideas, and I think we have the song we're gonna do. So I think we have, like, conceptual visual ideas of how we want the music video to go and everything, too. So I'm very grateful and fortunate to say that I'm pretty involved with the comeback process.
When you're doing something like that, do you ever allow the music or what you may be into writing to do you write it around what that concept is? Like, how do they inform each other?
Well, I'd say specifically in our case with ZB Label, because we are a music video company, we are very visual focused. So before we receive a song or even like participate in a song camp or talk to writers, we formulate the next like plot line in the AleXa universe, because I do have like multiverses and multiverse of madness, all this chaos and everything going on in my timeline. But yeah, we focus very much so on what the next storyline is for AleXa. Like, what's gonna happen? Is there gonna be a fight? Is she gonna have internal struggles, external struggles? Is she gonna meet another version of AleXa? And so once we visualize conceptually what we want to do and the feeling that we want to express to the fans, that's when we start talking to songwriters and we're like, okay, this is what's gonna go down. Give us a song that expresses this feeling. And so thankfully, you know, we can go back and forth with songwriters, be like, hey, this sounds incredible, but what if we tweaked the bridge a bit and made it a bit more exciting or slowed this part down? So I mean, I'm just very fortunate that the teams that we work with are so adaptable and so willing to just, you know, have giant creative discussions just to make the best product possible.
Do you ever end up, say, adjusting something you might do vocally, considering the way the choreography may be on stage? Like, do you ever have to adjust, like, okay, this is going to be very heavily, like, this is a dance moment, I'm going to adjust what we're doing vocally here?
I will say, I think rather than adjusting things vocally, we adjust the performance. So like an example for Wonderland, originally we had choreography going the whole thing, but I can't dance and maintain that high note. So that's why I had to kind of just stand there for the long yeah. But in regards to what we do in Korea too, with the comebacks and everything, I think we definitely alter the choreography more than the song itself, because we'll receive the song and then we'll receive the choreography. And of course they're gonna blend beautifully, but it's like, okay, I'm singing this live, where is it gonna be difficult for me to actually maintain breath support or something? So then we'll just change the choreography more so than the song.
Another question. What advice would you give yourself 5 years ago?
Oh, that's a deep one. I need water for that. I would definitely say try to be a little bit more positive. I feel like there was a point in time where I developed a very pessimistic mindset, and that definitely impacted the way I approached work and just approached life in general. Definitely I would say try to be more positive. And not just regarding work, but just being a human being. Things will get better, you know? Keep fighting for what you believe in, and like, don't give up on yourself, don't give up on friendships or anything, because things can and will get better. And I just, probably just persevere. That's the word I'd say, just persevere. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I have a question regarding how you handle dance choreography. Dances are usually absolutely astounding and
Thank
very
you.
intriguing. So whether you're within practice or also whether you're performing live, how do you remember, well, what sort of tricks do you use to actually remember your points and cues? And also, when you have that many dancers working with you on stage, do you have any way to communicate with them if they need to make sort of changes, or do you all just sort of go easily?
Okay. Well, I will say remembering all my choreographies is definitely a wee bit tricky. I mean, there are artists out there that have been in the game longer than me, I don't know how they remember everything. It's tricky. It's tricky to program. That's right all the time. But yeah, I mean, definitely speaking for not just myself, but some other people in the industry that I know. If you've been in the game for at least even just 2 years, well, not even 2 years, but if you have over 10 songs, odds are you're going to forget one of them eventually, no matter how long you've been in the game. I mean, before coming on, this isn't a tour, but before coming to America this past month and doing everything we've done, I definitely had to have like a little refresher session with my dancers and be like, hey, I forgot this 8 count. How does it go? Please help me, because we're just so busy doing so much. But it's really nice because the dancers are always so kind of flexible, and so like if they forget something too, we work on things together, or like we have a new dancer come in, we'll readjust formations and everything. It's a very collaborative effort where we work very cohesively as a unit. And if things need to be fixed, I mean, during a practice, we'll probably sit down and look at a monitor video that we record and be like, hey, if you move a little bit more to the left, or if you move a little bit more front, the formation's gonna look top notch. I don't know, just everyone I work with is so nice. And I'm just very fortunate to have these kind of people around me.
Has there ever been a time, if you don't mind me asking, where you had to make an adjustment during a lot towards a fire with your other song?
You know, I'm not sure, my brain, cold spaghetti on the floor, spread out, just soggy and limp and disgusting. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's all right,
No.
So coming from Korea to America, was that something that you definitely wanted to eat coming here, like coming to?
Cane's chicken.
Really?
I know, it's very, also Five Guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was with Cane's and Five Guys, everyone agrees with Five Guys, okay. But don't ask me why. I mean, in Korea, we got like KFC and everything, but like, that's like a different kind of chicken. The Cane's chicken with the toast and the sauce and the, so good, so good. Yeah.
All right, so without getting in any trouble, I mean, you had a whirlwind of a year, obviously after success in May. I would love to know future projects and or opportunity that has opened thus since winning the competition.
I mean, for one, I think it's just super cool because, you know, people knew me as AleXa, the K-pop idol before, AleXa, the K-pop artist, but after this win on the American Song Contest, it's really cool. It's like, walk through the airport and suddenly someone's mother and their family approach me, they're like, you're the girl from American Song Contest. And I'm like, well, yes, I am. And they're like, oh, my family and I loved you. Like, we voted so hard for you. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it's really interesting having that experience too, because it's like, the fan demographic for K-pop is definitely a bit different for than, like, I'd say, not worldwide, but just general American, like, pop consumption, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting to have people from that side of the spectrum also approach me with, like, such kind words and such just, what's the word I'm looking for? Not Korean, English type, come on, brain. I don't know, just general kindness, I guess. But I will say it's definitely helped open doors. I mean, Otakon in general is a huge thing, huge. I mean, when they introduced me during the opening ceremony, it was as the American Song Contest winner. So I'm very grateful for that experience, and it's definitely helped and probably will continue to help me move up and step forward in my career path.
Absolutely. Top Gun premiere.
Oh, yes, the Top Gun premiere.
New York. I mean, you did some big things this year.
Tom Cruise. Crazy.
We have one last question. So what are your goals for the remainder of 2022?
Oh, well, gotta come back in the works. We are actively working on that. Should be sooner than later. And then I know that we have a tour coming up as well. I think it's end of October. If not that, beginning of November, but it's a US tour. Should be a handful of cities, so who knows, I might see you there, maybe, I don't know. But other than that, definitely just working hard on the next biggest and best thing, I guess. And hopefully, some end of the year stages would be nice in Korea, but we'll have to see about that. But yeah, just a very busy end of the year, but we're really excited.
I just want to know, if your participation was Produce 48, how did that help or influence what you're doing now?
I see. Well, for Produce 48, that was my first experience with Korean broadcasting cameras. Because I mean, there are so many cameras when you perform with these music shows. I don't think people understand, because when I was on American Song Contest and these cute little artists that were never been on TV before, whenever they had to learn to find the cameras, it took me back to produce when I was so lost, and I was like, what do you mean I gotta look at, no, but that one, the lights, this one, the lights on, not with, and the ones that move, and the Jimmy Jims and everything, it's so confusing. But definitely learning camera work, learning how to find the cameras, that has helped me tremendously in my career. Like when I first debuted, I was still pretty bad at finding cameras. Like the shot would be like up here, but I was looking over here, and it's like, well, now you know, but that's what practice is for. Yeah. Oh, we done so? Oh.
Well, no further questions, but thank you so very much.
No,
thank you.
oh,
Thank you so much for your time.
thank you for your wonderful questions, for being so kind and welcoming. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just a big fan sitting here.
Thank you. All right. Paper.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yay, photos.